All right, it's May 26, 2012. I'm going to do this video on the basis of, well, I'm still HRM, Caesar St. Augustine de Buonaparte, also known as Reality Supreme Being, and a presidential candidate. Now, the other two videos this morning was about the typhus scare and how is it that so many things are popping up all of a sudden, you know, over the last 20 years. You can count, there's more than on both hands, you know, West Nile virus, bird flu, typhus. I mean, you know, it's going on and on. You got to know it's something, it's not coincidence. Anyway, so let's go back and talk about 9/11 and who actually predicted it. Actually, many people predicted it. I could go into talking about why 9/11 appears on the $20 bill and the Pentagon on the other side as a coincidental anomaly. I could also talk about the fact that Chris Carter, the X-Files, when they did the lone gunman, which if you punch in lone gunman, the interesting thing about the lone gunman, my letter was sent, let me back up. In 1993, I sent a giant letter to the White House telling them exactly, actually, how and where the World Trade Center was going to be attacked. And it was going to be on 9/11. I just didn't have the year. Now, years later, X-Files came out. After that, the lone gunman, 3 guys, appeared, and they did a pilot. Interesting parody here. A pilot for the program. I mean, this is not coincidence. These are anomalies that are popping up everywhere, and that were popping up everywhere during a whole 10-year period. So they did a pilot, excuse the pun, or the strange coincidence, about a plane that was going to fly into the World Trade Center. Now, I logged into YouTube as a lone gunman, and they have a few videos of it. And actually, The Simpsons and the lone gunman supposedly predicted 9/11 before it happened. Now, the lone gunman was about 6 months before 9/11 actually happened. Now, in the plot, the plane is saved and doesn't fly into the World Trade Center. But here's the interesting thing. My letter cryptically predicts all of the events. The letter was 13 feet long and 3 feet wide. The 13 feet represented the 1,300 feet of the height of the World Trade Center. At the end of the letter, there's a blueprint of 2 skyscrapers from the top, which was a cryptic prediction of predicting that it would come from the air. Okay? In the letter, there's a whole series of letters that I sent the Clinton White House. One of them said, pointed out in a cryptic way, that the plane that crashed into the White House lawn, I said sarcastically, see, anything can be used as a weapon of destruction. But the letter had other cryptic suggestions in there that only an idiot would have not put 2 and 2 together and figured out that here I was telling them when the attack was going to happen and how it was going to happen. Anyway, then years later, the lone gunman does a pilot program, the plane that is going to fly into the World Trade Center, but doesn't. The Simpsons also had something of similar value on their, you know, cartoon program. But you can't wash away the coincidence and the anomalies involved here, because the $20 bill that was engraved, the new $20 bill, the old $20 bill had the back of the White House on the back. The new $20 bill has the front of the White House on the back of it, including the large portrait of the presidents, except for Ben Franklin and Alexander Hamilton. They weren't presidents. But in the folding of the $20 bill, you end up with a representation, artistically looking, of the World Trade Center on fire and the Pentagon on fire on the other side. Now, Another interesting coincidence is that the picture that was taken for engraving the new $20 bill was taken in 1984. After during the time that the Marine barracks were bombed in Lebanon. Now, if I start stringing all of these anomalies together, the government does this kind of work. The CIA and the NSA, they do this kind of work. It's even explained in the movie 3 Days of the Condor, where they in that movie, Robert Redford is working for a CIA branch that reads all these novels and tries to compare it to current events that are taking place to see if there's any anomalies that they could put wheels in motion to either stop a bad event from happening or allow a bad event to happening. Like what happened in World War II with the attack on Hawaii, that they allowed it to happen. Now, these comparative anomalies are not anomalies. I explained this in my early videos involving quantum physics, entanglement, and the whole real glue that holds the whole universe together. I know this sounds far-fetched, but only people that are in quantum physics can understand what I'm talking about. I'm not pasting together just stuff at random. These are not anomalies. So let's go back talking about the lone gunman. So, or rather the Robert Redford thing, which I mentioned in the movie 3 Days of the Condor, that they're reading these novels. Well, the government has expanded that program and gone into further anomalies. The reason I'm still alive is because the government takes stuff from me. They listen to all these YouTubes and they take out certain portions. They actually hire people to sit and take notes. And they're trying to prevent, while not giving me any credit whatsoever for doing what they're doing secretly, they have destroyed my life, taken my cars, taken my boats, destroyed me. And they don't understand that the person who is giving them this information, they're stealing it from me and using this giant jigsaw puzzle like a map on a wall, like a CSI investigation. And they're trying to project what's going to happen next. Well, let me tell you, I'm the one that knows how it's going to end. And you people will never find out from as much information that you've stolen from me on all these YouTube videos and other YouTube videos as well. I'm not the only one. You're not going to be able to have a computer big enough to put it together because you can't simulate what the human mind consciously and subconsciously can do and compare it to a computer. Artificial intelligence? I don't think so. You'll read a lot about it, but it isn't going to match the unpredictability of the human mind, which is what makes DNA so fantastic. You find me a computer in parts, in living parts, all the parts that can compare to this. If I unravel all 100 trillion cells of a human being, one human being, and glue them end to end, all the DNA strands, they will reach out from planet Earth past Pluto and go beyond Pluto 49,800,000,000 miles further. So you can't compare, there are no number of computers that can go that far out. We don't have that much. So in physical computer parts that could mimic that kind of storage capability. It just isn't there. And anybody that tells you it is a liar. Now, let me go back and talk about this giant conspiracy that these people have going. Now, we're only 9 minutes into this, and I put a lot of information into this and a lot of thought. You have done, I'm talking to the president, governors, senators, and the people of the United States. Federal, state, and local level. You have done the biggest disservice to yourselves by attacking me the way you did. You will never find common ground between me and you. This isn't a play. This is a play for power. A peaceful, what they call a peaceful coup d'etat, and you are going to surrender completely and absolutely. The military forces of the United States will be under my complete 100% control. You want to stop tornadoes, hurricanes, you want to stop disasters, you're looking at the guy that has all of the plans locked up in my DNA. You won't get them from any, if I have any offspring, or if my, even if I had offspring, and I don't, you won't get it from offspring. Remember what I said about DNA? DNA is unpredictable. Mental giants aren't pre-planned. There's no God that pre-plans this. It's all Russian roulette. So you got one chance and one chance only. It's like the people that killed the golden goose that laid golden eggs. The goose that laid golden eggs, excuse me. They thought, well, the goose isn't laying the gold fast enough, so they killed it thinking they could get all the gold out of the goose. Well, all they found was flesh and blood. Feathers, flesh, and blood. Because they killed the process. It takes a process to create that golden egg. And that's what you did to me. You'd murdered me by taking my cars, my putts, my boats, my trucks. You murdered me. So now you remember this. The end result of all the coincidences and anomalies that are going on are housed in one person and one person only, and that's me. I don't have to prove it to you. Matter of fact, I don't want to prove it to you because you don't deserve the answer. And besides that, it's just, the answer is so scary, the end result, you don't want to know. It's worse than a meteor hitting planet Earth, okay, the size of Texas, like in the movie Armageddon. It's worse than that. So, you've got your chance. You can either save the earth, like Al Gore says, or you can destroy it. I left a recording in the White House, many hacked recordings. So one of them was, we're going to play a game, a realistic game, a game of reality. And this reality's game is called Simon Says, and I'm Simon. Period. The only Simon. And you are going to take orders from me. And now you're going to have to pay hell. You're going to have hell to pay. And you're going to be paying hell for the crap that you did to me. Your political system will be scuttled completely. Just like in Revelations, it says, Babylon is destroyed in one day. I am the destroyer. I'm going to destroy America completely and absolutely. It will never exist the way it exists right now. You think you have a happy-go-lucky life. You don't, because you don't know the end. You don't know how the end is going to happen. You can predict all you want to. The person who is a master at predicting these anomalies and putting the anomalies together in such a way that I know the end result without a doubt, it behooves you to be on your knees to me before Father's Day, because I am the Father. And I don't care if you don't believe me or not. Wait and see what's going to happen. The typhus scare, the West Nile virus, all that stuff. Hey, I come up with these ideas. I tell Al-Qaeda. The fight goes on back and forth until I'm never going to win, because you've already taken all my possessions. You've taken my property. You've taken my guitars, my guns, my this, my that. You've taken everything. So, since you interfered in my life, I'm going to interfere in all of yours. Except there's one difference. You're going to benefit from it, whereas I have not benefited from what you people did to me. And I'm going to go after every person, get a passport and run and find a hole. Everybody that crossed my path, I don't care whether you're fire department, police, whoever you were, building and safety, you better run. Because I will be in control soon. And when that happens, it's going to be worse than death for every person that did this to me. Especially Mayor Vigorosa, I'd go hide the deepest hole you can. Go journey to the center of the earth. Mr. President, yeah, go find out, go share the journey to the center of the earth with Vigorosa and everybody else. Politics is going to change in one day, overnight. It's not. I'm going to have to protest on the street or do this or do that. You're going to find out the hard way that you don't do stuff like this. Say that you represent liberty and freedom, and then insult people by doing what you did to me. Insult a whole idea, the whole definition of freedom, liberty, justice, and all the other high baloney crap that you brainwash people with. All right, now that you know the truth, you can go stuff it. Live with the typhus scare, because worse is coming. You better answer my debate. Your times are running out.